All right, welcome everybody here. Listen to the MVP podcast. This is episode 10. We finally hit double digits.
Yay!
Exciting day for us. We have Carey back on the show again. Second time on the show. First time we talked about it, she was just getting into her out-of-state deal, so out-of-state investing. We got a little bit of an update from her on that one. She's actually opening up another venture for wholesaling. So she talks a little bit about that, but it's still in its like grassroots, like infancy stages. So she's like, stay tuned with that one. Once she gets that up and going, she's actually going to bring her brother on, who's into wholesaling as well. We'll have another show. So she's going to be a 3-time show on here, which is exciting. And then we talked a little bit about how COVID's been affecting her market and what it's been doing for her and her investing and her clients. So without any other hesitation, let's just bring her on. You ready?
Do it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, other than that, how have you been?
Really good.
Good.
Busy.
Yeah.
Good.
What's been keeping you busy as of last time on the show?
So, I sold a 3-family this week, and we've been going forward with that duplex purchase in Waterville, Maine.
Nice. And you've checked it out by now?
Sorry, what?
Have you checked that out? I know before when you put in the offer, you hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah, I went to the inspection,
Nice. How was it?
and it was great. It was great. I mean, it's, a rental property. It's not, beautiful, but
Yeah.
it's very well maintained, no major issues. Overall, solid house. So
Good.
I think it's going to be great.
Good.
And great location, really nice neighborhood. There's a lot of single families too in the mix, and they all look like well-maintained homes. So yeah, I'm really
That's
excited.
awesome. I know that getting your rental right in the middle of some single family homes definitely helps in multiple different ways. One being the personnel that you're going to bring in, more of that family focused, slower rolling type of dynamic, at least from what I've seen in Wisconsin, which has always been nice.
Because those people are looking
And
to
also,
kind
I
of
think-
stay.
Yeah.
And I think the owner-occupied homes usually are, better maintained.
Right.
So it's nice when it's not all rentals.
Right.
And we actually met the neighbor who had lived there her entire life, and she must have been in her late 80s.
Oh, wow.
So that was nice to meet her.
Yeah.
There's a church behind it, and it's you can walk to downtown. So yeah, it's a great little area. My husband hasn't seen it yet, but he trusts me. So
That's all. That's what it's about.
yeah.
I actually.
We're also starting.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying we are starting a new company, which is going to be doing wholesaling.
Nice.
So
Is that
been
just
getting
state
that up
or
and
is that
running as well.
national?
excuse me, what was that?
Is that statewide or is that national?
It's going to be out of state.
Okay.
We're thinking about doing it in Detroit to start off with, and then we may go to other areas as well.
That's awesome. You are the true long distance investor.
I am getting there, yeah. And I feel like it's funny because, after I've tried wholesaling, it'll be like I've tried pretty much all of the major investing strategies. I've flipped a house, holding long term, house hacking, and then wholesaling.
Well,
Covering
once
all
you
my
get
bases.
that up and going, we're going to find out which one you like the best and why.
Yeah, definitely.
I just
I
say
can
you're
tell you, I
inspiring.
think flipping is a little stressful for me.
Oh, yeah.
I gained 15 pounds during that transaction.
Yeah, my fitness as well has plummeted since the whole flipping thing happened.
Oh, I just gained 15 pounds sitting next to my husband. So.
No, that's
Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart.
I can understand that.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us more about that threeplex. That wasn't on the table before, or it wasn't mentioned, I guess. Tell me more about that
was
threeplex.
a listing that I took in Somerville, right near Boston, and I sold it. So I was the listing agent on the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Somerville happens to be a very, very hot market. It's because it's very close to Boston. It's cooled off a bit because of COVID, like all the urban areas have, but
Mm-hmm.
this 3-family was listed for 1.5, and it was on the market for 10 days, and we got a cash offer. So I'm excited about that.
Absolutely.
And we're able to close before the end of the year, which was very important to my seller. He's worried about taxes.
Oh,
so that
that
was
makes
good.
sense.
I got you. Well, that's very cool, and that's awesome that it got taken so quick and it's able to close pretty quick.
It is. It was kind of under the we're a little bit under the gun.
Yeah,
For sure.
I'd say so. That's a quick turnaround.
Hopefully it goes smoothly.
Yeah. With your listing, now that you're into the whole investment side of things, are you creating kind of a book of business of people that buy investment properties where you can, now you're that premier agent of in the world of investing, you've got those buyers out there that may be interested that you can network through?
I mean, I keep a long list of buyers who would be interested in opportunities that might come up. So from doing, from having listings and doing seminars and webinars, I have a pretty big database of investors for this area. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, and I just wasn't sure if because you've been doing it for so long, you kind of get that group of people. Because actually, it was an interesting question for me, because when I got into the agent side of things, I wanted to be the person that could buy and sell and have that network of investors for people that wanted to either house hack, where they're interested in investing, but I don't know, don't have the capital or haven't done it before, where they could buy a duplex. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it hasn't evolved yet because the agent side is kind of a back burner to my business. So I haven't gotten to that level yet. So it's always piqued my interest. Wasn't wondering if that was something that you were able to develop through the years of doing it. So a little bit of a personal question on that one.
I mean, we did partner with someone on our flip who we know through working in this area. They're actually contractors that we work with a lot. They've done a lot of flipping in the past, so we successfully partnered with them on that. That was really nice. That's the only time I've partnered with someone so far. But yeah, that's an interesting thing to consider. Definitely, on the bigger purchases. In Waterville, Maine, it's such a low price point that the nice thing is you don't have to do that. But if we were to buy something around here, that would be a great thing to think about.
Yeah. I always thought it was like a good way of trying to, motivate people to get into real estate investing and see the world of it. And that's why I was trying to push it, at least just like a duplex. If it's somebody that wants to own property but can't buy their dream single family home, saying, hey, the opportunity is out there to buy a duplex and get some of that mortgage paid for by the people that live right next door. You can create a fund where then you can go buy your single family, the space you're living in, you can rent, and now you've just created a stream of income for yourself. It just takes a little bit of patience, a few years to live in a duplex, which at that point they're probably renting anyways. So you're not really changing your lifestyle. Just trying to get into the mentality of that and try to spread that out a little bit. That was my hope.
Yeah, another thing is you could, if you're lucky enough to have some healthy appreciation in your market and in your first property over the first 5 years, you might be able to take a HELOC and use that to either buy a single family, like you're saying, or buy an investment property.
Right. And that's location based.
Yeah.
Hopefully you pick your right location, but if you got a knowledgeable agent, that's in that investment world, hopefully they guide you in the right direction, which it sounds like you do to your clients, which is awesome.
Another thing that you just reminded me of too is in our office, Keller Williams Realty Cambridge, we have an investing club that we're kind of kicking it off. We were going to do it right at the beginning of the year, but then COVID hit. So we're doing it. We're getting it going now. But basically, the idea is that agents can partner with each other and pool their resources to invest in properties, income properties.
Okay.
So it makes it a much less, a much less riskier venture if you only have to put $5,000-$10,000 in.
Right.
Maybe one commission check, and you can be a partner in an investment property.
Right. And I love that concept, and that's something that I'm striving for when my brokerage gets up and going, is getting the agents to have their own investment property. In my head, I feel like it benefits in so many different ways. One, it's going to make you, I think, a better agent, knowledgeable in terms of material and operation of a home, where you can actually get, because it's your asset. You need to keep this thing running efficiently. So the more you're involved in that property, the more you're going to learn about the mechanics of a house, which then you can transfer that knowledge into the single family realm when you're helping your clients.
Absolutely. And it helps you even, talk to people who are investors or want to invest or might be interested in investing.
Right.
One thing they tell us at Keller Williams is, talk to your database, and give them a copy of Gary Keller's, $1 million real estate investor.
Mm-hmm.
To ask them, when do you plan to buy your next investment property? And they may be like, well, we don't own investment property. Well, your home that you live in is an investment, right?
Yeah.
When are you planning to buy the next one?
Right.
So it's like cultivating that mindset of real estate can be a home and also an investment.
Right.
Let me guide you and work with you to show you how so many people have done this successfully.
Yep.
My husband actually just came to me with an investment opportunity a couple of weeks ago. He's like, how would you like to spend like $200 and be a fifth owner of a camping site? So it'd be like
oh, wow.
like a hunting, camping.
He just wants to go hunting.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's part of it is in his family. So he's like, we could keep more of the portion of it in our family, as opposed to having other people who have invested in it, be able to take over it. So that way they can't sell it from underneath us. But I was like, well, I mean, I guess if it will appreciate in value, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my maybe, my dipping my little toe in.
You got to start somewhere. Yeah. That's all it is. I know there's
so
been.
Good.
You can go. I'm sorry.
Thinking for a friend of mine who wants to buy a property, income property, and she was just kind of saying how it's so expensive around here. And I was like, well, maybe you could look into a place in Vermont, or around a ski resort, Airbnb it, and she loves to ski. So I'm like, it could be both a getaway and an investment property.
Right.
Or someplace in Mexico.
There you go.
And same deal. You can buy it a lot cheaper than you can anywhere near Boston. And you could choose which weeks you want to go and then Airbnb the rest of the time.
We were looking at it was a manufactured house out in wine country in Oregon, and we're like, we could maybe Airbnb that thing, and then we could also go out there and go visit and hang out and drink wine. So that would be fun for us.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm seeing more and more of those property management companies come out that just manage Airbnbs. And it's crazy how big that concept has gotten.
I can see that.
Right.
They don't own any assets. They literally are a service company. Mm-hmm. And a service company on top of a service company is just, it's great. But yeah, there's a lot of upkeep to turning over tenants and cleaning and resetting everything every weekend or every week that it's rented out. Mm-hmm. So the property managers that can capitalize on that makes it even more passive.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want. Yeah, you want it to be totally passive. So you want a full service property manager who just does everything.
Yeah.
and
I don't know
issue a check.
what's more nerve-wracking in my mind, an Airbnb or out-of-state investing. I think.
No, they both are.
I know. But talking to Carey makes out-of-state investing seem a lot more normal. A lot more
Well,
easy.
I think that's why I'm like, now because I've got one under my belt, or knock on wood, it's closing soon, but, now it doesn't feel as scary. So I'm like, yeah, we should buy a place in Mexico. Now, like,
Heck yeah.
I feel like I could go anywhere.
Ole.
Like, what's the difference, really? As long as you trust the people that are managing it, then what's the difference where it is?
Yeah.
And if the numbers work.
Right.
So here's my question for you, Carey. What would you look for as far as like an out-of-state realtor? What tips could you give our listeners? Because I want to ask that question, so I'm sure everybody else wants to know the answer too.
I would say call me.
Okay.
And I have a nationwide and global network, and I can refer you to 1, 2, or 3 excellent agents in the market you're interested in.
Fabulous. I'll be talking to you next week.
Perfect.
And for all the listeners that want to get into it, feel free to call Carey.
Exactly.
Contact information will be in the notes.
617-791-4882.
Love it.
And when I get the guts to get out of state, I will give you a call as well. Eventually, I'm going to do it. Because it seems fascinating. It seems like a very cool stepping stone to get to. I just got to take a deep breath and be comfortable with it.
Well, what is the market like for you in your area? Is it pricey or?
There's some locations where rentals just won't cash flow, and you have to go in with your investment strategy as just appreciation. I've talked to a few people that they buy, they rent, they take the lump every month, but the appreciation is skyrocketing so much that their hope is just to sell it and cash out at the end. But I mean, if you're in the metro areas like Milwaukee, you can find a house that'll cash flow like crazy in most areas. But I have not ventured into Milwaukee metro area. Madison, I'm seeing a lot more Airbnbs coming out, and those rentals, you'll obviously get like the college crowd because that's where Madison is, with a lot of students there. The area that we're in specifically, which is the Waukesha County area, it honestly could switch from the side of the road. Like there's one neighborhood that it'll cash flow. The other neighborhood is just not going to work with numbers.
Even in Oconomowoc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the average sale price?
Oh my
Man,
gosh.
that scatters. We've got a historic downtown, and we've got a whole new built-up, brand new $500,000, million up.
I was gonna say we can go from anywhere from 100,000 to 3 or 4 million.
Yeah, there was a $2 million or $1.8 million 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom home.
What?
On Oconomowoc Lake, but it was like on the island. It was like on this. Right, it was like on this island. It's got a bridge. Like the scenery was amazing. The house was done so well, but it was small.
It was tiny.
But it's pulling like, I think it was 1.6, 1.8.
Sounds about right.
It was crazy. But that's the same lake that like the castle of Pabst Brewery was on. And you've got a lot of historical homes on that's going to pull. And it's such a busy lake. I mean, Okachi Lake, which is a little bit east of where we're at, they're having old cottages torn down. They're buying 2 lots and putting up multi-million-dollar homes.
I was going to say that's the low end of the lakes around here.
Yeah.
But
it's such a sporadic. And that's what I was talking about. Like,
having a field day.
Yeah, you turn the street or you turn the corner and you're in a whole different market, which is it's cool in one aspect and then it's difficult in the other because it's cool in the fact that you can blockade this 1 mile stretch and you can look for this type of home and you can invest really well in that neighborhood, and then but the surrounding area to that you can't touch.
Right.
And then if you want to get into appreciation, that surrounding area would be great, but in the middle there's really nothing. So it's really fascinating, and we're on the outskirts of major cities, so we're very sporadic. It's building and it's getting bigger. Like we just had 3 major condos built downtown.
Yeah. That
half the town is happy about and half the town is not happy about.
You'll see major protests going on.
I know.
It's crazy. And then there's a fourth condo that has the possibility of being built that the town is that the residents of the town are trying to buy up the land to make sure that it's not built and it's turned into a park.
Yes, it's either a park or a major condo.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Wow.
So, yeah, we're a wild card over here.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is the city is very, very progressive. They want to develop. They bring people in. They bring big developers into the city to buy up land, develop neighborhoods, either luxury side-by-sides, luxury single families. So we have the biggest fleet farm in the state.
We do.
So it's very sporadic. So I wish we could give you like a
fleet farm.
It's like Home
Menards.
Depot. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's our namesake. We've got the biggest fleet farm. That makes us sound very Wisconsin.
It really does.
Yeah.
It makes you want to like call Charlie Barons or Charlie, you know, the up north guy.
Oh, I don't know his name.
It's Charlie something.
The guy that does all the Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen that guy? He
I
does
don't think
the
so.
Keep Her Moving. That guy. Is that who you're talking about?
No.
Oh,
I'm
I thought
talking
that's who
about
you're
the guy that's from like the Upper Peninsula. From can't think of it.
Talk about side tangent. Sorry, Carey.
Sorry. We got distracted. Back to the main topic.
Yeah, we can edit that part out.
But anyway, it sounds like you can get a cash flow, but maybe those properties are priced a little higher.
Yeah, they are. The cash flow is going to be lower in this area, but the security of your investment is a lot higher. So I talked to a lot of investors within the metro areas, and they say, yeah, you're going to cash flow. The houses are cheaper, but the missed rent payments and the damage to properties and the age of the home is just a lot of negatives. And again, my tolerance level is not there. I'd rather cash flow lower and have more of a, quote unquote, guarantee. So that's why I try to stay within Waukesha County. There's been plenty of, you can always, not always, you can majority of the time cash flow with like foreclosures or off-market deals, because that's where I found all mine. They're all either a foreclosure or off-market. But that comes with expenses of marketing. So I send out mailers. I go to auctions, and it's a lot more legwork rather than just looking on the MLS or Facebook Marketplace for investments. But either way, it's been fun. But yeah, we stick to very like rural investing.
Okay.
Definitely.
Singles or multis?
So far they've all been single family. But the one unique part that I got with the previous, well, now 2 homes ago, bought the lot it was a single family brick home, 1-story, very basic, 2-bedroom. It's actually built on 2 lots. So for the price that we purchased it at, we can split the lot and then build a duplex right next to it. And I've talked to the city about it needs to look like a single family home, so we need entrances on the back and the front. So we've worked out all those dynamics. But yeah, the money to be made was on that second lot that we could parcel off, which was kind of cool, buying it at one price, and it's actually more valuable as 2 pieces.
Totally.
And you get a lot more creative with more land. Like Milwaukee is one big giant grid, and there's really not a lot of flex space. But out here, you can get kind of creative with land and split it, and at least in Oconomowoc, they're pretty willing to do that.
That's great.
Yeah, it's been fun. In your area, do you have like a median when you're looking at investments? Do you look for area first? Do you look for price first? Do you look for asset class first? How do you kind of narrow your scope down?
Right now, I'm kind of looking for I think we talked about this last time, the 1% rule.
Yep.
Is kind of my
bigger pockets
jumping off point. Yeah, for finding areas that work, because I don't know how people just invest for appreciation. I don't go with that. I need to see cash flow from day one.
Yeah.
Even if it's $100 $1,200 a month. There has to be some cash flow.
Right.
So, I know some investors are okay with breaking even. I don't know how you could have it costing you money. That's not an asset.
Mm-hmm.
It's costing you money.
Right.
So as long as there is positive cash flow, I'm gonna, take a look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And what we did with our purchase in Waterville, Maine, was we used our HELOC from our duplex in Stoneham or Boston, because we had really good equity in it after 5 years. So we borrowed against our line of credit and were able to put the down payment. So that kind of determined what our price point would be that we could work with.
Okay.
We didn't want to use all of it, so we used a portion of it, and that allowed us to leverage the house we already have and buy an investment property. So now what we're planning to do is take any cash flow from that property and put it right back into the property. So it should cash flow around, almost $300 a month, and we're going to just put that right back into the mortgage. And when we build up enough equity, we can borrow against that property.
That's when it gets fun.
And buy another one. Yeah.
That's when it starts to expand very, very quickly.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's like the overall thing we're looking at. So with every property, it will kind of be the same thing. Like, well, how much equity do we have available to use?
Mm-hmm.
And where can we buy something with that down payment, with that amount of money? And, typically you have to put 25% down for an investment property. So where can we buy with that amount of money that has at least 1% cash flow per month?
Right.
1% of the purchase price per month.
I like that mindset. And
not cash flow, gross income, sorry.
No, it's all right. I think that's super cool, and I thank you for sharing that one. I think it's very cool to see how other investors look or start off with looking or what market I can get into or what home I can purchase or what asset class. Because you talk to any investor and their starting point is going to be different. They may be in a different market.
Yeah.
They might be in a different financial standing. They may have different assets that they can leverage. So when people come to me and they're like, hey, I want to pick your brain about how I can start getting into investing, I'm always welcome. I always share how I go about it, but I always tell them like, hey, talk to like 3 other investors. They're going to invite you in. They'll talk to you about it, but there's so many different ways you can look at a starting point. But the fact that you're actually starting and talking to people is what's going to get you started.
And I think a lot of it really boils down to common sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like, what do you have to work with?
Right.
And if the answer is nothing, well, how can you partner with someone, or how can you, get that together?
Right.
How can you leverage your position? And then, what are your goals? So, and then, like, whatever your situation is, then you just have to figure out what's going to get you from A to B, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that might be simplifying it a little bit, but after 10 years of working in real estate and, listening to endless podcasts and webinars and reading books, it really does come down to that. You just have to sit down, figure out, what do I want to do and how can I do it?
Right.
It's not rocket science.
No, it's not. It's just getting started. And I know they say that on Bigger Pockets all the time, which I don't know if we can give a shameless plug to another podcast on a podcast. But they always just say the hardest thing is getting started, but you got to start somewhere. Just start talking to people.
The sooner the better.
I know, I'm sitting here like zoning out because I'm brainstorming on like, how can I get started? Like, quick.
Yeah. So. And it's funny that you're going to do long distance real estate in Detroit. I don't know if you listened to it, but like 2 years ago, they had a guest on Bigger Pockets, who she lived in Detroit. She gave her whole background. She didn't have a lot of money. She was working paycheck to paycheck just to pay bills. The kind of story that I like to hear because it's real. And she was in that cycle, and she bought her first home in Detroit. It was when the market crashed, so I think she picked up the house for like $8,000. It was like all of her savings. And then went in, did the work on nights and weekends, and then got a tenant in, and then leveraged that to get another one. And now she's got like 8 rental properties, and that stream of income has surpassed her day job. She still does the day job thing, but I thought it was just a super cool story. And the more and more you listen to podcasts and you hear people talk about where they started and they can do it, you just got to like take the first step. And
you might have to hustle. Yeah.
You do have to hustle, that's for sure.
Yeah. Unless you are already wealthy or someone who is wealthy is supporting you, you might have to hustle in the beginning and really just make it happen. But there's so many rags to riches stories in real estate, and I love that about it. Like, think about all the immigrants that have come here and around the Boston area. There's a lot of that, people who were born in other countries come here with virtually nothing, and they've built a life through real estate. And it's like it's amazing to me how some people don't see the potential. It's available to everyone.
It is. It's the hidden secret.
One of the great stories I love. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, real estate's like the hidden gem. Like, no one talks about it. It's built up to be this complicated thing.
But it's always right there.
It's right there.
Yeah.
It's super simple. But sorry, I cut you off. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna quickly mention a similar story of this. He's actually a Keller Williams agent, mega agent. His name is Ben Kinney. Actually, I think he might be on I forget exactly where he's based out of. I think it's on the West Coast or in like Oregon or something. I'll have to check. I don't know offhand. But he was born in like absolute destitution, poverty. He lived in like a shack with no heat and with his dad, and he didn't have a bed. He and his dad like cut a sofa in half, and they each slept on one half.
This was in your book, wasn't it?
What's that?
This was in your book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, this story sounds really familiar. Okay. Keep going.
Yeah. I just love him. I think he's so inspirational. So, basically, as a young man, he got a job. He was working for a cable company, I believe, going door to door. And this woman who he was selling cable to, invited him in. And he asked her, like, something about her condo. And she said, no, this isn't a condo. It's a duplex. I own the whole thing, and I rent out the other side. And he was like, wait, what? How do you do that? And she said, yeah, no, it's great. She said, my entire mortgage is paid for. And his mind was just blown at that. And so he called a mortgage guy that he knew, or found, I don't know, looked him up, I don't know, and found out exactly how much it would cost him to put a down payment on a duplex in that area. And at that time, it's way back when, but I think he needed like $11,000. So he went and worked nights and weekends and picked up all the overtime that he could, and he saved up $11,000. He did the same exact thing, and he said that it wasn't completely paid for, but his housing was like $100 a month or something. So that was his first investment.
That's
and
awesome.
From there, now, he's just like a megastar agent. He got really enamored with real estate, and rest is history. Now he gives away $1 million a year to charity.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think you did pretty well in real estate.
Yeah.
That's a very cool story from start to finish. Yeah. Man, that is awesome. If we could get him on to tell his story.
Yeah.
Man. But another reason to get the book, so you can actually do you have more details on that one in the book? I'm hoping.
Yeah, there's a little more detail in the book. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is super, super cool. Man.
I know. This is getting me the chills.
You get little tidbits on shows where it gives you chills. And that was one of them.
I want to go do something
I love a good
super
story
fun.
like that. So good.
We have to stop having all these amazing guests on because it makes me want to go and invest, and I need to put some money aside so I can go do that first.
But that's what we want. We want to promote this mentality. We want to promote people
know.
to do it. I would love to share my market with hundreds of people because I think the opportunities are endless. And I think the more people in it, the better, the more chance for people to get creative into deals and all that. So my hope is for everybody to love real estate. We'll see how long it takes.
And even if
we can do it, Carey.
Ready to dive in. That's right. Let's do it. I was just going to say, like, as much as I love real estate too, I mean, even if you're not ready to buy a property, definitely invest.
Right.
Like, because you can open an investment account some places for like $50.
Yep.
You want to have your money growing and working for you.
Right.
At all times.
Right.
I mean, I wish I had done that sooner. So, if I could talk to my younger self, I'd be like, oh my God, don't wait, you know?
Right.
I love checking like my retirement accounts, my TD Ameritrade stocks. Like I check those in the morning. Like people go on Instagram and check their Facebook and all that, and I'm on like TD Ameritrade, and I'm like, okay, what were the things that moved yesterday? What's the news that's happening? Like that stuff fascinates me. And then it's like that delayed gratification, because then you can go in with something that you bought maybe 4 years ago, and you'd be like, oh, that made me like $100. And like it's not major big wins, but it's $100 I didn't have before, and if that was in my savings account, it'd probably be like $5.
You know what makes me super excited is to see my kids' EdVest account and how quickly that has been growing lately. Like,
what is the name of it?
It's called EdVest, EDVEST. It's basically I think it's $5.29. It's an account where you save for their college tuition, and he gets so excited because I'm like, Riley, you have X thousands of dollars in your, EdVest account. He's like, oh my gosh, Mom, my college is going to be paid for. I'm like, it'll be close. I mean,
so
at least,
cool.
and it depends on.
And then you're planting the seed for him to, plan to invest as well.
For sure. And he has his own savings account at the bank. And it was so funny the other day. There is this app called Go Henry. And it's basically a debit card for kids. They actually send you a real debit card. I think it's a Visa. I mean, it costs $3 a month. So if your kids get more than $3 a month and they're like spending, then it can be worth it. But he said, how about we keep your checking account yours until you start making like $20 a month or $30 a month, and then we'll give you a Go Henry credit card. But let's watch your money build. In the meantime, we still have your savings account. We have your quote-unquote checking account, which is your piggy bank at your house. So I think if we watch it grow that way, that's super fun too.
That's a good idea, because I think that's kind of hard right now with kids. I mean, we don't use cash anymore.
Right.
I know.
So like my oldest has a checking account, but he doesn't have a debit card. And so it's like, if he wants to buy something, we would have to go to the bank,
right?
Withdraw the cash, So, cash just really isn't a thing anymore.
Yeah, it was super cool. We saw the ad on TV or something, and we're like, as soon as Riley saw it, he's like, Mom, I need that. That needs to be mine. I'm like, we'll look into it.
Yeah, I think
more freedom.
Yes.
Definitely cool to get the kids started in investing early and get the mindset going. 2 years ago, I bought my niece a stock for her birthday.
Aww.
Like I got her a gift. I'm not like that boring uncle.
Like
she got her birthday gift. Like I definitely can be, but I got her a gift. And then like when it was all done, I was like, hey, I want to buy you a stock. And she was like, what's a stock? And I was like, great learning moment. This is why I brought it up. So I was talking to her about like things she purchases and how stocks grow and all that stuff. And I was like, what stock do you want? And she's like, I have no idea. And I'm like, okay, well, where do you shop? And she was like, I think she ended up with like, what was the company for kids? It's a subsidiary of Gap.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, well, you can't buy stock in that company because it's actually owned by Gap. which was a whole rabbit hole we had to go down. But at the end of it, we bought a share of Gap, and in that year, I think it grew like $1.30 or something like that.
Nice.
Not a very good year for it, but it's one of those bigger companies not going to have a massive growth. So the next year following, got her a gift, got her a separate card, and it said congratulations, and I put $1.30 in her card. And she's like, what's that for? And I was like, that's your appreciation on your stock. And she's like, that's it? And I was like, well, what did you do for it?
Right.
You didn't do anything.
Right.
It's just $1.30.
Yeah.
And she's like, I guess that's a good point. But
That's your first step to financial freedom,
Right.
young lady.
I was like,
So-
now you have to go get another one and another one and another one.
Right.
And see
That's
which ones go
right.
the most.
So every year, all my nieces and nephews get a stock. Oh, I'm such a boring
Who
uncle.
are you?
Boring
Such a boring
uncle.
uncle.
Oh,
That's
I
funny.
know,
I
but
love it.
I'm thinking of doing the same thing for my kids for Christmas. They're
It's-
probably good. You know what? My oldest though is kind of into money. Like he always wins at Monopoly,
That's so
And-
funny.
and I think he's going to be a very shrewd businessman. Actually,
That's
so
awesome.
I think he would actually get a kick out of it, a stock or something like that.
I used to just ask, instead of like diapers or whatever, I was like, just put money in his EdVest account. Like, we don't need anything. He certainly doesn't need anything. He's one. Like, what is he going to remember from
Yeah.
this
Mhm.
Christmas? Just put money in his EdVest
Totally.
account.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, we can't do that. That's awful. I'm like, no, it's not. It's totally fine.
No, it's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And I have to ask,
When he's
do you
21, he's going to be pumped.
Yeah.
right? That's the payoff. And I don't know, because we didn't have like all the instant like likes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's got to be hard for them growing up. Everything's instant, and then like
Mhm.
21 hits, and you're like, hey, remember that thing we did when you were 5?
Yeah.
Like, here's your benefit.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be like a light bulb moment or something. I'm
I
curious.
think if you keep talking to them about it and you keep explaining it to them,
Yeah,
perhaps.
maybe.
I
I don't
know.
know.
Yeah,
Do
and
you play
hopefully
the?
It's growing over time. That might be exciting to watch the numbers grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should get one of those giant tickers in his room
Yes.
where he can see it daily, like the
Yes.
stock market tickers.
That's funny. I love it.
Do you play the old Monopoly with the cash, or do you play the new Monopoly with just the card? Have you seen that one?
No, there was
Oh,
a
yeah.
new one.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's awful.
I do believe we have both. Yes. The new one is, I can't even play that with my son. He beats me every time.
Oh my gosh.
So I think we stopped playing that one because
That's
I just
funny.
can't. I'm kind of competitive, very competitive.
Oh, so
and
am
I
I.
just can't handle it.
No, absolutely not.
No.
We do.
Although he beats me in the other one too, it just takes longer.
Yes.
So.
And they get bored, and then it's like, ugh, I don't want to keep doing this anymore.
Yeah, I stink at Monopoly. I don't know what my problem is. I think what happened was my husband is like, he's just like figured out the strategy. Like he has like a foolproof strategy, and then he taught it to Benjamin,
Oh.
my son, and now I suck at it because I don't know the strategy.
They're
That's
keeping it
funny.
out of your head.
I kind of rock Monopoly at our house here. I'm like, no, you're not going to win. That's my money. Thanks.
I don't know unless I've played Monopoly.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, I
My
know how to make real money, so it's fine.
My
That's
son
true.
won't play it with me anymore because he's like, I don't want to play this, Mom. Mom, you always win. Sorry.
Yeah,
The
it's not
mom
fun to be
lessons
beat
right
at
there.
Monopoly.
That's funny.
It's kind of depressing.
But as long as you can do it in real
Go
life,
bankrupt.
Yeah, I
You'll
mean,
be
you're doing
alright.
it in real life, so you're kind of,
Yeah.
winning.
and you let him win. I know
That's
you
how I
do.
pick myself back up. I'm like, well, I'm doing good in real life.
If he ever asks me, I'm gonna let him know that you told me that you let him win.
So I guess the
Okay.
question, or I guess the question is, when are you going to buy your first hotel in real life?
That is the question.
Right?
Man, that's a whole
Yeah.
different asset class.
Well, I told you about that. The Airbnb in Mexico, that's coming.
There you go.
I'm
That
like dead set on that.
that can be considered a hotel. I'll rent from you down there. That's fine.
Perfect. Yeah, I can't wait. I might have to wait till COVID's over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd probably be smart.
That's the
Take a
next
flight
thing.
Safely. We'll see.
The next thing we're gonna bring up. What is COVID doing to your market right now?
Yeah, it's a great question. So what it's done is kind of turn the tables of usually the urban areas, downtown, Boston, Cambridge, Somerville are the very, very, very hot markets. And the suburbs are good, but not as crazy. And now it's the complete opposite. So the urban areas are still a seller's market, but definitely have taken a hit. And I think so. I just pulled the stats for multifamilies this week in Middlesex County, which is kind of not Boston proper, but greater Boston. And what I saw was that sale prices are up 7% over last year. So that's great. But I think a large reason for that is the interest rates being so low.
Mm-hmm.
That's keeping, the market up. But the volume is increasing. So it's increased actually by 47% since last year, which is huge.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So if that continues, then we could very well see the market shift to a buyer's market. But the suburbs around here and the more rural areas even are super hot. So people are generally looking for single families in nice neighborhoods where they have more space. Like there's a suburb around here called Melrose, and I had a couple buyers looking this summer, and oh my God, it was like untouchable. I mean, going 100,000 over asking and still not getting it, waiving all contingencies. It was just great. It was like a bloodbath. So one of them actually ended up going to a neighboring community, and the other family bought a house that needed a ton of work, and they're in the middle of gut renovating it right now.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it was pretty interesting. Very, very different this year.
That's
Indeed.
crazy.
That's for sure.
And I
different.
think also, like in Boston, we have a lot of luxury condos, $1 million and more.
Mm-hmm.
And that market has definitely taken a hit. The whole condo market as a whole has stayed relatively stable, but the high-end condos are taking a hit, and I think that's an indicator of the shifting market as well, because there's just less buyers at that price point.
Makes
sense. And if they're going to pay $1 million now, they're probably going to go for a single family. Right.
And I can't remember who talked about it, but there's actually an investor that went with appreciation. I believe he's an appreciation-based investor, but he talked about how he stays away from any luxury investment or development. And he said, like, it's coming, like, there's more and more luxury apartments and luxury condos and luxury duplex, like that kind of thing. And he was like, it's just out of my comfort zone. I'll go out of state. I'll do what I need to do, but I stay away from A-class investments. I stick to mainly B's and C's. I'll do a D class, but not really fond of it. And his rationale was, yes, A's are great. You're going to get a lot of money out of it, but when something bad happens in a market and we get a tank, everybody drops a class. So A's are left stranded.
Yep.
The A's will drop to B's, the B's will drop to C's, and then it takes forever for people to work back up and trust the market that they can get back up to an A and keep it as a standard. So he was like, I just don't touch them. They're great for what they are, but the risk reward was just too high for it. So, and I was like, that's really interesting. I never really thought about that aspect, but I know with this whole COVID thing, those luxury developers got to be hurting.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there's definitely more profit margin when you're talking those luxury developments.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, in a rising market, it makes sense. But, I would definitely agree that when the market shifts, it hits that high price point first.
Mm-hmm. Whereas
there's always going to be buyers that can afford, the first-time home buyer market.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always going to be the most people in that population, in that market sector, that can afford the entry-level house or the entry-level rent, You're always going to have a larger portion of the population that can afford that. So when you go up into the stratosphere of the luxury price points, it's riskier because, it could, it'll be the first portion that's affected by a downturn, and you're always going to have a smaller buyer pool.
Yep.
You know, it just makes sense.
Yeah. And I don't know why, but after that, it kind of shifted my mind of staying away from that A-class development or asset class, because I don't know, the fact of having somebody rent something of luxury. I don't know. I just, in my mindset, I'm like, just if you're renting, just rent until you can own, and owning is the way to go. And I just feel like it's a more fiscally responsible move to rent something that's within your realm, where you can save to buy something that maybe you buy something luxury, but rent in your means for a little bit.
Say,
it's crazy to me.
My end-all be-all goal is to have a condo or a duplex or something where I do not have to maintain the land, because like that's my biggest pet peeve. I'm like, let's tear out as much grass as we can and just like hardscape, because I don't want to take care of it.
Got to go to California. They just put turf down.
Yeah.
And then they spray paint it green.
Well, in Oregon,
have you seen that, Carey?
No.
In Oregon, he had his whole yard turfed. And I mean, I used to own a doggy daycare where all we had was AstroTurf in the yard, and I loved it. Like, I loved it for so many reasons. But I'm like, can we just put AstroTurf down in our yard? And my husband was like, Natasha, that would cost us like $10,000.
It is super expensive. Yeah.
I know.
But then you're like, honey, you never have to mow the lawn.
I know. Pretty much.
Ever.
I'm like, you can just sit down and drink your lawn mowing beer and not have to mow the lawn. So it's a win-win.
Didn't work.
It didn't work.
And then in Arizona, apparently it's just all gravel.
Yes.
So you can go to Arizona as well.
Yes. Okay, that's fine.
Two great markets.
Yeah, we have in Boston this place. It's called the Seaport. It's a neighborhood that's right on the harbor, the sea, and it's just recently developed in the past 10 years. But they have all these luxury residence hotels where they're renting like a studio apartment for $3,000 a month. And apparently they've been very hard hit. You know, they're operating like 50% occupancy right now. But yeah, I don't understand why someone would pay that $3,000 a month.
That's so much.
To rent.
Right.
You know, for a studio. So I think part of it too for me is just the mindset. Like, why would someone do that?
Right.
But they of course have all these amenities, and they really don't ever have to leave. You know, they have everything at their fingertips. Their fitness center and food and concierge service all the way. So I think that's the draw.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I do forget. I always forget about the flip side of it, where you've got the people that have owned homes and they're trying to downsize, but they don't want to lose like that nice feel of maybe they own the luxury home, they sold it, they cashed out, and then they wanted to downsize, move to the city, and get that concierge like nice amenity type. You know, forget about them sometimes, but I know that there's
funny because my husband used to live in a high-rise apartment building on Lake Michigan, and he was telling me that he had a ton of clients from his country club rent out apartments down there because they finally sold their large estates or their large houses and wanted no maintenance. They wanted everything at their fingertip, and they wanted, everything taken care of for them. So they would just rent these very luxurious apartments, and they loved it.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's for everyone.
There's definitely clearly a market for that lifestyle. Yeah. Whereas I'm like, oh my God, you've got to invest that money.
I know, right? I guess if they're self-made, then let them play around with their money a little bit.
Right.
People are different, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
This is going to be just a question out of left field, but it just popped in my head, and I don't know why it popped into my head. But I was visiting my sister. She lives in Baltimore, and I was going through their downtown area, kind of where like the Under Armour campus is. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're familiar, Carey, with that area.
I am.
You are. Yeah, you are.
Not too much.
I just group all of the East Coast. This is my ignorance. I group all of the East Coast as one state. You're just East Coast. That's it. And I don't know if you have homes like this in your area where they're literally the single-family homes, but they are joined by walls. Like,
row homes.
Yeah, each one.
Like attached single families?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But they're called row homes?
They're called row homes.
Here.
Oh, there's not a lot over there?
Well, there's some, they call them brownstones in downtown Boston because they're all brick.
Yep.
Yeah, so down in downtown Boston, but a lot of them have been also carved up into smaller condos.
Right.
Okay. I always had a question as I'm
Super
walking
common.
through, and I'm like, okay, something happens to the exterior of that building right on the line.
You're screwed.
Who's taking care of that? Who delineates
I think
who's,
it's where it starts.
or like if that wall interior gets damaged
Actually,
and both
I
sides are,
sold a house like that this summer. Come to think of it, and yeah, they shared one wall, and they didn't share any expenses. Actually, they actually just, if the roof needed repair or replacement, it would just be their portion.
Mm-hmm.
Or anything on the
Whoa.
exterior, same thing. They just delineated it right down the middle.
Yeah.
So they had nothing that was shared.
Because most of the time it's brick or some like
Yeah.
hard porous,
yeah,
And so, I mean, unless there's a fire, there's not a lot of shared.
right.
There's nothing that's really shared.
Yeah, I was always just curious because like we don't see none of them out here.
No.
We've
I
got
mean,
none of
there's a couple here and there, but they're not brick and they're not.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, maybe if you go to downtown Milwaukee.
yeah, some of the commercial stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just a peek, and I don't know what you said, Carey, but it popped that question in my mind, and I was like, oh, I finally have somebody in that market that may have an answer for me on how that goes. So I had to ask the question.
Yeah, it's probably case by case.
Yeah.
But in that one example anyway, the place that I sold recently, it was just completely separate.
Mm-hmm.
Or there might be, a shared reserve fund sometimes.
Kinda
or
like
they
a
might share
condo?
Insurance.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it can be separated for sure.
Interesting stuff.
In most cases, unless for some reason like they share a gutter or some other
And I would think it would be wherever
part of the house.
wherever the problem like originated from. Like if there was something electrical or. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. But one thing I was going to say, too, just to follow up on the COVID conversation, is I think it also just taught us that, you really just, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, life and real estate are very unpredictable. And, for example, a lot of landlords that had properties in the, areas around colleges,
Mhm.
Boston's a big college town, and there are neighborhoods that are almost completely college students, and those areas have historically been the hottest rental markets,
Mm-hmm.
with great rental income,
Oh, yeah.
and they have probably been the hardest hit by this whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
They're completely vacant. They're ghost towns.
Oh no.
So,
I just hope they had their
that's one
reserves set
example.
up.
Yeah. I mean, they've probably been gouging the college kids for so long it doesn't matter. But 1 year won't be the end of the world. But yeah, rents have definitely taken a hit.
Yep.
In Boston, big time. A lot of more vacancy, and the eviction moratorium meant that a lot of tenants could not pay rent and not be evicted.
Yeah.
So that was big.
Man. I just hope it goes back.
Yeah.
I do too. Yeah. Let's hope and pray.
Every day.
Yeah, I just
hope
thought I
and
would
pray.
mention that because the rental market is also a big part of, this real estate market over here.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to keep us updated with that one. We're like nearing the end of time, and I wish we could keep it longer. I got
Okay.
yelled at. Did I tell you that? Oh, I didn't tell you, Carey. I got yelled at last week because she was like, okay, we have to wrap this up. And it's like, okay. So I've been very conscious with time, and I don't want to keep her over again.
And I'm giving him hand signals to let him know how much time we have left.
So I'm trying to be courteous there, but
You went way over last week. I mean, way over.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I get on rolls. I'd keep going right now if you didn't give me hand signals.
I know.
The silent yelling. But I want to be curious of your time. I appreciate you coming on again. It's always great talking to people outside, and it was cool to see the movement that you've had since it was 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago. So congratulations on that.
Happened for you. Way to go.
Yeah, thank you.
Keep it going.
Fun
Keep
to
pushing.
roll.
I'm
And-
just lucky
Yeah,
because I get to
I'll
hear about it
circle
every
back and
week.
let you know how the wholesaling thing goes.
Yeah,
I'm excited
please
about
keep
it.
me when you get that up and going. you're gonna have to come back on and give us the goods and the bads of that, because that is a world that
Sure thing.
interests me. And I've only dabbled. Like I dipped my toe in it in terms of like viewing. And I would love to be able to talk to somebody in depth who's in it, doing it full time, or within their portfolio of what they do. So that would be fascinating.
I'm completely copying my brother, who has already started doing it.
Oh,
And
really?
He just told me about it, and I was like, count me in. I'm doing it.
That's
Love it.
awesome.
Yeah.
We
I'd be
need to do a
happy pass
tandem.
along the baton.
The next time you come on,
Yeah.
we'll do a tandem. You, your brother, come on the show.
Oh,
There you
yeah.
go.
That'd
And
be
kinda
great.
bounce
He's
your
an
ideas.
investor up in Portland, Maine.
Oh,
So,
fun.
That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh,
He's a
boy.
smart dude. I
Don't
would
say,
love to
oh
know more
boy,
about
that's
your
going to be a good
brokerage,
show.
too.
I know.
Did you hear Natasha like sigh on that one?
I was like, now I just have to figure out how to conference call in people and come up with a whole other set of questions. And whew,
You
okay,
can
we
do
can
it.
do it.
You
We
can do it.
it.
You can do it. Well, I look forward to that show. I look forward to the updates you have. We'll keep pushing this real estate mindset, getting people motivated to do it.
Absolutely.
We're starting with Natasha. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next show. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carey.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy
Oh
your
my gosh, my
Thanksgiving.
pleasure.
All right. Well, we'll
You
talk to you
too.
soon. All right, Carey.
Take care.
All right.
See ya.
bye.